Kaim Kalike Namaha. If you'd like more exclusive occult videos that I don't post on YouTube, subscribe to my Patreon. It helps to support this channel. So I'm going to explain to you the deeper meaning of the sun, the moon, and Mercury as it pertains to Tantra, but also this is very important to know in astrology. Now, there is what we call in the Vedic tradition, which is Atma, Buddhi, and Manas. And this is very important to understand in the birth chart. Atma, which is the soul, but also the will, this is represented by the sun. Buddhi, which is the wisdom, but the intuitive wisdom that you carry, which is represented by the moon. And then Manas, which is the activity or the thought process, the power of the thought or the intellect, is represented by Mercury. Now, these three planets are very, very important because if you look in your chart where the sun is, this is showing you where your willpower will come from. The will is the most important thing. The sun, when we look at the chakras, because all the planets equal the chakras, the sun is on one petal of the Ajna chakra or the third eye chakra on the right. And then also the sun is represented by the crown at the very top. This is our willpower. So this is also why the highest version of doing mantras is by just doing it with will, which is para sound, para chanting. So we move up the scale. You can have sound that works from the throat, which is using all your organs, which is the lowest level of sound. Then the second level is doing a mantra in your head, and that is using the moon in your head. And then when your crown starts opening up, you're able to do mantras just at the will, where you don't even have to recite the mantras. So that's why it's very important to open up your will. And your willpower is what will help you achieve everything in life, to go beyond having to do things physically to just having to will things into existence without even really having to think about them. So when we look at the will, where the sun is, this is our leadership abilities, our spiritual insights, because it also represented by the crown. In our chart, this will show us where our will come from and what the soul really wants in this lifetime, what the soul wants to will into existence. Then we look at the moon. This is the wisdom. So once you want to will something, what the soul wants, how is the soul going to gain the wisdom? Then we look at where the moon is, because this will show us where the wisdom will come from and where the nourishment will come from as well. So where the moon is will show you where that wisdom will come from to help the soul gain what it wants to do in this lifetime. Then we look at where Mercury is. Mercury is how we're going to gain that intellect in order to manifest this thing into existence. So all of this is showing us how we're going to accomplish our soul's mission. And the Atmakarka is another one that shows the soul's purpose as well. But this is just a more general one that anybody can use in their chart. Now, how strong these are will show you if you're going to be able to accomplish this or not. And if they aren't strong, then you can always strengthen it by using mantras. So all that means is that the chakras are not working at a high capacity. That's all that means. And that all you have to do is do the mantras so that they slowly start working better and the energy is able to pass through. For example, if your Mercury is not very strong, you don't have a very strong intellect, you're not going to be able to take the wisdom that you found within and express that into the outer world or communicate that to the outer world, which is necessary. So this is why we have to strengthen these things. Or say if you aren't able to connect with your intuition, then you're lacking a lot of abilities in order to know what you need to do next. Or if you have no willpower, you're not going to be able to will anything into existence. So these are very important things to do. And these planets are at the top of the chakra system. These planets are considered the consciousness part of the planets, on the level of consciousness. And the rest of the planets are considered at the level of the physical plane, except for Venus. Venus is both. So Venus is the heart chakra, so it's in the middle. So if you look at it like this, we have Mercury, the sun, the moon, the sun up here, and then Venus is in the middle. So Venus is between the higher levels of consciousness and then the physical plane, because Venus represented by Sukrasharya. So Venus is the guru for the asuras, for the demons, which means for the lower planes. So that doesn't mean good or bad. It means for the lower planes, because Venus is able to help to bring things into existence, into the physical plane. So that's why it's both. Now, the other planets, like for example, Saturn being the very lowest at the first chakra, Saturn is all about bringing things into physical existence, or having our security in physical existence. Then we have Jupiter in the second chakra, which is helping us with our sense of sexuality. That's why Jupiter's children. And then we move up is Mars. Mars is our willpower. So all these things are on the physical plane. But Jupiter exaltation is the third eye as well. The highest version of Jupiter can help us gain wisdom, but the lowest version of Jupiter helps us gain wisdom on the material plane, just like religion, for example, is man-made. So when you understand the planets on this aspect, this can actually help you decode your chart and understand astrology a lot deeper, and understand what you're meant to do in this world and how you utilize these planets to make things happen. So these are very important to understand. That's just a little bit about that. I thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you, and I'll see you in the next one.